it's Valentine's Day, like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what it is like when it's Valentine. A lot of people,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure. People want to show their. Someone said something about Valentine. She said that there was so much pressure
Mm-hmm.
about the Valentine's Day that she actually was feeling very dizzy about it. And another person said, why can't we love every day? Why can't we love ourselves all year round? Does it have to be only on Valentine's Day before we love each other?
Well, I think wise people know that showing love all year round is cheaper than waiting for Valentine. But I think Valentine is more commercialized now in the world, and those that are commercializing it create a hype around it. And because of the hype that is being created around it, because of the over commercialization of Valentine,
Yeah.
a lot of people seem to get in the frenzy, especially those in the lower rung of the love strata. Even the higher rung people, I mean, so they still get involved. So it's what it is. The media dictates a lot of the pace, a lot of the way people live their life. So I can tell you that this Valentine that we're celebrating, 80 to 90% of it is what the media and all the various ads make of it, and people want to be a part of it. Is
Okay.
it that they are really in love? Well, you can, that is a debatable issue, but it's something they just want to be part of.
So are you saying to me now that you're not going to buy me Valentine present?
You
Don't
see,
try me. Don't
that's
try
another
me.
thing. So people think it's another opportunity to get presents, it's another opportunity to just get stuff. But love is beyond doing that once in a year, or maybe twice or three times in a year, because it's cheaper. I mean, if I buy you a book a month, another month I buy you maybe
An
a
earring,
costume earring,
jewelry.
and another month I buy you something. I'm coming back from office and I get you stuff. Every month, if I get you something, I'm not sure you will be that angry when Valentine comes and I don't get you anything, because our love is already being watered as we get along. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you're saying to me that, loving, showing love every day, giving gifts of appreciation well,
Well,
not
just
every
showing
day, but giving
appreciation.
every
Yeah,
day
just showing appreciation.
is a lot less
Expensive.
expensive
Yes.
than waiting
For
for February 14th and
exact,
buying all the expensive presents.
exactly. And trying
Okay.
to accumulate all the love you should have spread over 12 months, and trying to gather everything inside 1 month or inside one day to say, oh, you know what, I love you. And you remember when we were younger? I mean, there's a story. I mean, so a lot of people, I remember once when we were younger, I don't know, with the 19 in the 2000s. We wanted to go on one Valentine Day. We couldn't get to where we were going. We were stuck in Okpebi. We were in traffic. We couldn't get to our destination. Turning back to go home. So virtually that
Awolowo Road was finished.
everywhere. So those kind of things. But we're all part of it. We wanted to go out, want to go and book dinner, and we are stuck on the road. We couldn't get to where we are going. Coming back, we were exhausted. So Valentine was virtually spent on the road trying to get somewhere, which you never did, and trying to get back home, and you got back very late because
And
everywhere
it
was
was
locked down.
jammed. Yeah, I think you're right to the degree that there's a lot of commercialization of the day. And, like I said in my article, it was
Yeah.
like, I think, is it an exaggeration of lust or is it love? So a lot of people get lost, in this whole Valentine issue. And a lot of people do things that they're not supposed to do tomorrow because they're under a lot of pressure to prove that that they are in love or stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So a lot of young people will think that tomorrow is the day that they have to show their love. I mean, statistics have shown that a lot of young ladies lose their virginity on Valentine's Day because they feel that's the day they have to express love and so many things that they get into. But as you get older and you have been in this
Game.
love triangle for a while,
It's not a triangle. It's an odyssey.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
A triangle is when we have like this.
Yes,
this.
now, but Jesus is there.
Okay. When Jesus is there, then you're not going to have this virginity on the timeline. Well, on the love train, the kind of way. Yeah.
Okay, on the love train. I mean, if you've been on this trajectory for a while, you will definitely know that Valentine is like every other event, a commercial event.
Okay.
All right. So even a lot of people that celebrate Christmas and New Year, they don't know the essence of what they're celebrating. They just look at the commercial aspect of it. A lot of people that make cake are making money. Those that make flowers are making money. Those that do things are making money.
Gift wrappers.
And gift wrappers. And so everybody is looking at what can I get out of it. And then, some people are like, okay, this is the opportunity I have now. That girl I've been eyeing, I can take her on a date for Valentine. And remember we did that. I think I traveled almost 700 and something kilometers once in my life just to go and celebrate Valentine.
Just to see me.
Just to go and celebrate Valentine in Port Harcourt. So, but
the thing about Valentine's Day is that it's like it's a time for me to show that yes,
you love the woman.
This is your babe. Mark your territory.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a lot of commercialization. So we are still coming. I mean, so this is just a build-up, right? So I remember in that year, I think it was in 1993 or 94, I can't remember, when I drove all the way, and I drove alone from Lagos to Port Harcourt on the 13th of February, I think. Just to land Port Harcourt to celebrate Valentine with you. Okay, what was I trying to prove? Obviously, if your friends hear that, your guy came all the way from Lagos just to celebrate Valentine and everything, is hype. But it was a serious risk again I was taking. Yeah. But at that time, we were young, we were careless, we were fearless, we could do anything we wanted to do. So a lot of young people, no matter how you try to tell them that, look, these things, they would still indulge. Okay, they will still indulge. So, but we want to talk. Thank God that, all that we did ended up in marriage, and then the life is continuing. We're talking about some 27 odd years.
Almost 30 years.
Almost together. 30 years ago, and we are still
together.
We are still on.
Okay. So
Juma, you're welcome.
Yeah, so there's Jumai, there's Sotoye, there's Itunolua, welcome. There is Basi.
Yeah.
There is Auntie Felicia. Yeah. Auntie Felicia, thank you so much for coming. We are delighted.
I'll get some nuggets from her as well.
Yeah, and so today we're talking about how to make love last beyond Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Can love last beyond Valentine's Day? And sure. Love, before I ask the question, I want to ask a question. Does true love really, really exist?
Yes, it does.
It does exist.
Yeah, true love do exist. Why do you ask? You don't believe it does?
No, I'm just asking you because you see, there's, we have the lockdown. Yeah. A lot of people are locked down.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are clamped in together, and statistically, the rate of domestic violence towards women and children is very high.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there's a lot of issues around that area. And some people think that love is old-fashioned because, again, the rate of divorce has gone very high.
Okay, when people say the rate of divorce have gone high, first of all, let me answer the fact that I think love truly exists.
Okay.
People choose. Sometimes people say they cannot choose who to fall in love with. Well, I don't totally agree. We go into any love relationship with our eyes fully and completely opened.
Okay.
So we know what we're getting into. So first of all, you must be sure. Um, People can fall in love. People say there's love at first sight. So you see somebody and you just feel there's a strong attraction
Okay.
between you and this person, and that attraction has to be further uh, founded on certain things that may happen eventually.
Okay.
So if those things do not connect, if they do not happen, then you might not be able to progress with that simple affection that you felt. So it's possible for you to see a woman for the first time and you are just like, wow, this is the woman I want to be with. Or you see a man and you are like, wow, this guy meets all the standards and all the criteria. He's tall, he's dark, he's handsome, he's well built, he's wearing a nice dress. And so you want to be with him, that physical attraction. Okay. So that thing that attracted you to the guy. Now, having known the guy, there has to be more that will keep you glued to the guy.
Which
Okay.
is
Yeah. And so those things are his character.
okay.
Okay. Very, very important. The way he treats you, the way he makes you feel. Okay. So you say you are in love with him. Before
Okay.
you can fall in love with somebody, it has to be a combination of so many things. So does love exist at first sight? I will tell people be very careful with that. So when they talk about love at first sight,
Can I ask a question?
please go ahead.
I remember,
Yeah.
like sometimes, like a guy, like I remember, I'll just tell the story. So my father was saying to us that the day he saw my mom, he saw her somewhere, and he was like, "Wow, I like this girl."
This
And
was this was before the First World
no,
War.
this was when he came back. This was after the second, when he came back to Nigeria from fighting in the Second World War.
From
Okay,
Boba.
it's not Boba. Excuse me.
Let's talk about
Excuse me.
correcting.
Excuse me. So, Lola, what I'm just trying to say is that what I'm just trying to say is that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes a guy sees a girl,
Yeah.
and the guy is like, "Wow,
Mm.
you know, wow, there's something about this girl. I'd like to know this girl."
I would
So,
like to know this girl.
okay,
So that's the caveat. I would like to know this girl, not I'm going to marry this girl. Look at what Samson did in the Bible.
okay.
He saw this woman and said, this is the woman I want to marry.
But no, but a lot of men
Yes.
see a woman and
Yeah.
say, "My goodness gracious me, this is the woman I want to marry." After all, when
No problem at all.
Okay.
There's no problem at all. But if you now go into that relationship and then you find out that you have seen her physically, you like her, you are attracted to her, but what you then see is not what you want or what you expect in a woman that you want to be with.
Okay.
Some men ignore the signals and the tail signs. Some women
Yeah.
ignore the signals and the tail
Tell-
signs,
red
and
flags.
then they go in anyway. And then when they go in, they are in. Okay, but what we are saying is you will always see. So when I met you, I mean, it was a very peaceful, harmless meeting. All right. Okay, this girl is nice. All right. That's all,
Until
you
I
know.
became a little bit.
Okay, no, 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 no. All right. So
Okay.
what we're saying is it's okay to see somebody you like the
Okay.
person you're attracted, but there is more. And that is what we want to talk about today. What can sustain the love? So for many people that are married, you're already in the marriage. Okay. So what can sustain this marriage, that affection, that thing that made you say, yes, I do to the guy?
Okay, and it's before we ask, we go into the things that can sustain the love. I want to ask you, is physical attraction important in relationships?
Well, it depends on what you are looking for. It depends on what you are looking for. For me, you know, yeah, a lot of, I mean, so I can't even argue that now because if I say it's not important, people will say, but I opened my eyes wide when I was choosing. All right, people will say I opened my eyes wide when I was choosing. Yeah, it's important, but it's not the most important. Okay.
So there has to be a certain level of attraction.
Exactly.
Like, in the article. So guys, I wrote an article, um, which it's 10 tips on how to make love last beyond Valentine's Day. And you can read the article on my website, goshopforbaby.com. Okay. And in the article, we talked about kindness and niceness
Yes.
being attractive.
Yeah.
So if a girl is drop dead gorgeous and she has a nasty, nasty, nasty attitude, what would men do? But then a lot of men like, the hourglass, they like that's why a lot of women, spend time in screening their faces and having the bone straight hair. And we spend money to, make our skin look beautiful. Because if those things don't sell, then men wouldn't
You're
come
correct.
after
I mean,
women.
so men are generally moved by what they see.
Okay.
All right. Women are moved by what they hear. That's why
Okay.
if you read the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From
From
Venus, it talks about men like what they see. That's why a lot of women, spend time taking care of their bodies. Nobody is black anymore in the world. Everybody is fair.
Nobody's dark skin.
Nobody has a short hair.
Everybody's bone straight.
Everybody's bone straight and all that stuff. Why? Because men like what they see. They are moved by physical things and what attracts them, which is okay. That can open the door for you to get in.
Okay.
But when you see what you see when you get in is another thing altogether. And a lot of people that have a vision for where they are going, if you want to make a lifelong commitment, okay, you have to be sure that what you see is what you can live with.
Okay.
So get ready, that's why the Bible says, can two walk together except they be agreed? You must be ready to take what you are seeing.
Okay. So, for example, if you're a man, right, and you meet a girl,
Yeah.
and she's pretty, she meets your specs. Okay, she has figure eights. She's what you like. Petite, a little bit, and she's a little, and she has a little, little something.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this like this the way she did vex it. She did curse, oh, that kind of way.
Yeah.
So do you now like look at it and so well, she meets the spec. But that's not winch. So will you like her winch?
I can answer that with a story I often tell. So
Okay, what I'm just trying to say is that you like her, but she'd be small winch. Would you like your winch like that?
yeah, some people think that things will change. That's why I say we see the red flags, we see the yellow flags, and we see all the signs.
Okay.
Right? And some people decide to go in.
Okay.
Some are able to weather the storm and they're able to carry on even in marriage. Okay. While others go in and then when they enter, they see that this is not what I bargained for. That's why you spoke about a high rate of divorce. Imagine people getting married in less than a year or 2 years, they're already talking of separation. And that happens because people do not, take time to establish. So when you are in a courtship, what are you looking out for? Right? When you are dating a guy or you are dating a girl, what is it that you guys are talking about? Or you are so carried away by the looks that you don't
by
want
the
to
possibilities of marriage. Like,
yeah, well, for those that are looking strictly at marriage, right? That you don't take time to talk about things, try to know the person beyond you and the person being together. How does the person behave when he's around other people, in his or her family or his family, in his workplace? What kind of a person is he or her?
okay, and there's something that somebody said that when a guy goes to visit a lady,
Mhm,
all right,
mhm,
that what you see happen between the father and mother
mhm.
is very important
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to word it right.
Yeah.
They're saying that the dynamics of the girl's parents,
Yeah.
you should be careful of that. You should watch that very carefully because the way her mother is to her father is the way that she could become to you in future. So there are some families that you go to, and every child defers to the mom,
Mm.
and the mother is the boss, is the strong, high, how do you call this, high team, high, you know. So you'd marry a girl, and all of a sudden, you're like, everything changes and she becomes a strong meat and you can't even talk to her. So is it true that watching a girl's family dynamics between her father and her mother is important in you deciding to marry a girl?
Okay, so
Did I make any sense?
yeah, you did absolutely. So I will answer like this. It's important to look at the family that someone comes from. It's absolutely critical.
Okay.
All right, but let's not get into stereotyping
Okay.
because otherwise we will not be who we are.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
get it. Otherwise, we will not be who we are. If we
Okay.
keep stereotyping people and saying either you are from a particular tribe, you are from a particular region, or this is the way your mother behaves. There's this saying that they also say that if you want to know how your girl will look in
Look like
future,
future.
look at the mom. Okay, so you meet a girl, she's figure eight, she's slim, oh, you like her, and you see the mom, say, wow, is this what my wife is going to look like in 10, 20 years' time?
Yeah.
So they say all those kind of things. Well, let's not get into all those stereotyping. So for me, I just see, look at the individual, the character of the person, what you see. Is it okay? Because it's possible for the father to be a wife beater and the son never turns out to touch his wife.
Okay.
It's also possible that, yeah, because that's the way he saw his father treating his mother, he
Okay.
would want to treat his wife like that.
Better. Okay.
But I have seen people who have said, I saw my mom being beaten by my dad. That's men now. And we say, I promised myself I will never touch my wife, and they did it,
They didn't.
and they didn't, yeah.
Okay. So, love, do you the fact that so guide schools and all of that, but do you think that the kind of family someone comes from is also very important?
It is, no doubt. It
Because
is.
I think that that our families, your family and my family,
Mm,
you know, played a very important role in stabilizing our marriage in a sense that that like I'm like I'm like the last born in your family,
yeah.
and you're
I
like one
mean,
of
there's no doubt that family background is important, because how do we know that family background is important? How they support you guys through the course of your journey. All right. What kind of support, what kind of advice do they give, throughout
okay,
the journey?
okay,
And as often happens when a storm arises,
okay,
how do they stand with you? All right.
yeah,
So that's why, it's always important to look at the kind of family you are getting into. All
okay,
right. How do they stand? Or, so everything is not about money, but it's just how they stand with you and what kind of value those family have.
okay,
That's the real clash that we have in marriages. And I think we'll talk about that
that,
because two people are coming from two different backgrounds. Right?
okay,
Some people have never eaten on a dining table before, all right, in all their house, maybe they've always eaten their food.
okay,
Yeah, but some people, all their life they learn how to eat in dining tables.
and
And
dining
so
tables and
two of you
carpets.
come together and you can't just understand why your husband will not, it's causing friction.
Okay, and if so,
Yeah.
you're saying to me now that right that we have to be equally yoked,
Yeah.
When I mean equally yoked, in terms of um, general social.
Yeah, well, to a
Well,
large extent, I think
yeah.
you should marry something close to your social strata. Very close. Don't go too far. Don't go too
So
far
what
out
if
of it.
what if a very rich guy sees a girl from a humble family and loves her? You can't marry her?
Well, it all depends on how they trade it. And listen to me very well. It all depends on how they trade it, to be honest.
Yeah.
How they trade it. If the guy is confident, if the girl is confident of who she are,
Who she
or
is,
who she is,
yeah.
sorry, and she cannot be intimidated by the wealth
Okay.
of the guy, okay?
Okay.
Because there's this tendency to think that, look, what do you have? I picked you up, I made you, and
Okay.
that will continue to run in the marriage for as long as the marriage is there. But
Okay.
again, I've seen people who have succeeded with it.
Okay. So I'm just looking out to see if we have any. So, guys, once again, we're talking about the steps, or rather, tips on how to make your marriage work or marriage last beyond Valentine's Day. And then, so please feel free to ask questions. If you have questions, please type your questions, or if you want to ask any question, I'd like you to kindly indicate by raising up your hands. And if there's a question I want to ask you, because yeah, hi, Gloria. Gloria is here. Oh, thanks. Gloria says, IB, your article is phenomenal. Very, everyone needs to read it, no matter the age. Thank you so much, Gloria. And Deji Kusoro, Deji, hi. Deji says that that is culture of the environment in which we are raised. It has a way of influencing your judgment and your decisions. Thank you very much, Deji. So in AIDS, what were we talking about again? I forgot.
You want to ask me a question?
So
Okay, the tips of how to make.
so we're talking about the tips on how to make your relationship last beyond Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So now tell us what the tips, what do you think that, okay, no, I'll put it this way. The last time we went to Ghana sometime.
Yeah.
And I think that when we went to Ghana, right, I didn't really think about it in any way, because you've been asking me to follow you on all trips, and I'm like, a lot of trips at the time, and I was like, no, I didn't want to go. I had one excuse, either the children or one thing. Either I had one presentation I was going to do, I didn't want to come. So, but then I finally agreed to follow you to Ghana. And then when I went with you, you know, I was thinking about what happened. The thing that happened the most, that interested me the most, was the oil. and and when I was thinking about writing this article about how to make love last beyond Valentine's Day, the Ghana trip kept resonating for me, kept popping up into my brain. Because for me, what I saw in it was some kind of a blueprint on how to make your marriage or your relationship work beyond Valentine's Day. I saw agreement.
Okay.
I saw kindness.
All right.
I saw tolerance. Now, it's not as if, listen, we're not perfect, but then these are the things that I saw that played out. And I'm saying that if everyone can at least try, that we would have relationships that have lesser friction than what we have.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Let me say this. First of all, go into any relationship with your eyes open, know what you are getting into.
Okay.
All right. And then two, um, you are already a complete person. You do not need anybody to complete you. Some other person can complement what you are or what you have,
Okay.
but you are complete in yourself.
Okay.
So think of yourself as a whole person.
Okay.
That's why the Bible says two whole people will come together and become one.
Okay.
Not half people. No. So it's not, some people say a marriage is about give and take. No, marriage is giving and taking.
How do you mean?
What I mean is we give ourselves into the relationship,
Okay.
without necessarily expecting, but we take what we get. So marriage is about what you give and you take also what you get in the marriage.
Okay, let me ask a question.
Go
So
ahead.
what if you give of yourself, you give of your time, you give of forgiveness, you give all the things, and then what you get is a backlash?
Which often happens.
Okay.
Which often happens. All right. So if we're talking within the context of marriage, all right. So we are moving to another area now where you
Okay.
probably need counseling.
Yeah.
All right. But I don't want to dive into that,
Yeah.
on this
Because we're not
platform.
talking about
We're
that.
not talking about that really. All right. But chances are that you give and you will get as well.
Okay.
All right. So there's an emotional deposit that we make.
Okay.
All right. Depending on what you have in your emotional bank,
Okay.
you can then draw
Okay.
from that account
Okay.
when the time comes. But some people do not make deposit into that account,
Okay.
and then they want to draw all the time.
Okay.
But if there's a deficit in your emotional bank account, then what you get is a deficit reaction, right? Which is what happens most of the time. All right. So
Okay.
people, I give you an example. So you go to work, your wife calls you, oh, please, honey, when you're coming, buy this, get me some flour, we need to make pancake. Day one you forget, day two you forget. And then when you come home, not only do you want to eat, you also want to play with your wife. And she's like, the simplest thing I sent you.
Okay.
All right. So already there's a deficit in his deposit because he didn't play his part. But if he went and he got the flour, not only the flour, he got sugar, he got egg, he got butter, the things that you didn't even send him. He added all of that and brought it.
Okay.
He's building up his accounts. Right. So when he comes, he's building up his account. So
What
I mean,
account?
we all have accounts.
Goodwill.
We all have accounts. I call it account. You can call it goodwill. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But to speak directly to your question about how do you sustain your love?
Yeah, beyond Valentine's Day.
Beyond Valentine. Number one, I would say be a nice person.
Okay.
You yourself must be nice.
Okay.
All right. You want to be treated well, treat your spouse well. All right. Mutual respect. Number two.
Mutual respect.
Respect for each other. When you wake up in the morning and tell your wife good morning, it's not because she's beneath you. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, love. How are you? How was your night?
I'm fine.
You're fine. You slept well.
Thank you.
When he's going to work or she's going to work, bye. When they come back, welcome back from work. How was your day, and all of those kind of things. So there must be mutual respect. Okay.
Yeah.
So mutual respect must be there. Don't disdain your wife or your husband because they haven't measured up to certain levels of standard, or because you think one thing or the other. So make sure that the respect you have for your husband, and I pray that spouses will keep themselves respectable as well.
Okay.
Because sometimes they do things that, just kills the respect.
Okay, so what are the things that kill respect?
What kills respect? Sometimes not speaking the truth, right?
Well, lying, okay.
Yeah, well, if you like, not lying, but
exaggeration.
Not saying all the truth, can make somebody to lose respect for you. And there are certain things you do around the house, just make sure that you keep the bones tight and going. All right.
Can you please, because you see, it means not everybody, that's what you're saying. People are here to learn. So what are the things like not looking nice?
Yeah,
like farting anyhow.
Yeah. So I say this all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
You've gotten that guy now. What you cannot do in front of your boss in the office, why do you think it's okay to do it in front of your husband? Why do you think it's okay to behave anyhow? People just think that, yeah, it's good to be free.
Okay.
And I'm not saying don't be free.
Okay.
All right. There are certain things, people say, I'm angry, I have a hot temper, I have a hot temper. The day you slap your boss and leave the job, that's when I will know you have a hot temper.
Okay.
So but when you come home, you slap your wife, or the wife gives your husband a slap, but your boss have said worst thing to you. So that thing that makes you constrain yourself and you don't slap your boss, okay? Can you now convert that to love, compassion for your wife?
Okay.
All right. So whatever you don't want, don't be careless with yourself. Mutual respect.
Okay.
Respect the other person.
Okay.
All right. And know what to do. So that's one. Two is.
No, that's two.
Okay, that's two. Number one, be nice. Number two, mutual respect. Number two is. Number three is let there be communication. All right. Continue to communicate with each other. Share on a daily basis how your day went, your highs and your lows. Women, they say, like to talk about everything. And hey, guys, if there are guys on the platform, maybe there are more women, try to listen to your wife. If you ask them how was their day, they start by telling you from when they left the house, the first traffic light they met, what happened there. They tell you all the journey through, all the way, what happened on traffic. Then when they got to the office, can you imagine the gate man there was saying that there was nobody yet. And then when I entered, so they tell you every detail.
But I don't want to cut you short, but I think that men, right? When their wives are telling them everything, this is how it sounds to them. And then sometimes, like it happens in our house, I think sometimes that when I give you all the details, I think that you just zone out. And then you're listening, and then after a while, something happened. I said, but I told you that yesterday. And he said, did you? I said, after I finished explaining everything to you. He said, but you didn't tell me. I'm like, I did. He said, okay. And then I get upset because I was telling you and you don't listen. So the thing is, guys, no matter how long the story is, do yourself a favor. Please listen to it.
We'll try.
Okay.
We'll try.
Okay.
We'll try. But so just make it a habit to listen to each other.
Okay.
Tipping. Okay. From time to time, you can throw in something.
Okay.
Number 3 or number 4, appreciate your spouse daily.
Yeah.
Let me speak it.
Okay, let me go get it. I'll find it. So you can talk. Let me get the phone. Okay. Continue. I don't think that's it.
Yeah. All right. So, like I was saying, appreciate your spouse daily. Say something good, say something nice. Look for the positive things they are doing. Look for things to praise. All right. Don't always look for faults to say, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, which is what happens most of the time. I mean, I still stand accused of that from time to time, that I don't praise them enough for the good things they do. As couples, as people who are in love, if you want your love to go beyond where it is right now, then these little tips will continue to work in your relationship. Appreciate your spouse on a daily basis.
Okay.
Or if you can't do it every day, every week, find something nice to say. When they dress up, you are their greatest mirror. You are their first mirror. They want to hear what you have to say. I mean, I appreciate it, when I dress up and my wife like, okay, this tie, she used to choose the tie, even when she's lying down on the bed, back in the days when I'm dressing up. The moment I have chosen a tie to wear, her eyes is open. She's looking at which tie am I putting on the shirt? Is it matching? Is it what's going? And if she doesn't like it, to be honest, I change it, to suit, because I know that she wants the best. She wants me to look good, even when I go out there. And the same thing for the women also. Always tell them, the tendency is that men often don't say what they want to say because sometimes it brings trouble. But sometimes the women dress up and then when they go out, and then you now look at her and say, is this what you want?
But,
Say, but you were at
but you
home.
didn't tell me when we were in the house. You waited until you went out. Okay. So in names, we have some questions here on Facebook.
Yeah.
And guys, please, if you have any questions, please can you type them?
You can go to the chat
You
box.
can type them in the chat box. So someone says, Ibifuro says couple goals. Thank you, Ibifuro. And Ada Peter says beautiful people. Ada, thanks. Ada says this, and she laughs, and she's laughing, and she says it's money that makes you constrain yourself. You see, I told you we should talk about money. You're saying,
go ahead.
okay, so he said maybe if the husband pays same. This Ada, you're not a good person. So Ada is reacting to the conversation that we have. We talked about how you have to constrain yourself. That that if you're with your boss, you wouldn't behave anyhow. So Ada is saying here that maybe if the husband pays same salary as the boss, it will help. Just joking. Okay. But again, you see, Ada, this is not funny. We're laughing now, but again, there's a lot of relationships where we have money issues. There's a lot of money pressures. And sometimes constantly and consistently, we see a lot of women carrying so much. And we had a conversation about this last night, right? Where we're talking about when women carry the load.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I agree. That's why when I hear all this women league and all this women liberation and all of that, I think it's right. I mean, we're all training our daughters to be independent and to be self-sufficient. So we're training our children to be doctors, engineers. And so female are getting the same kind of education that male children are getting, and they are all being exposed to the same kind of opportunities. But, still the way it is in marriages, the man is expected, or he is the head, and as the head, he's expected to do certain things.
Yeah.
All right. And although that culture is changing a bit, all right, but nonetheless, marriages happen only when the man is financially comfortable or financially stable. Rarely does a man and a woman start going out and the guy doesn't have a job, and then they are talking of marriage. Everybody will say, "What's wrong with you? You don't have a job." I mean, I've heard that there can't be romance without finance. All right.
And so, but that is a little true. Yeah. Okay. I mean, let's look at it now.
Okay, tell me.
I feel that, well, that's what people say.
Yeah. What do people say?
That there can't be romance without finance.
There can't be romance without finance. Okay, so the question is, marriages only happen when the man is comfortable and he starts planning and is ready. All right.
Yeah.
But if the woman is the one that has all the money, I mean, you see a man who is working, gradually go and bring a woman, no work, nothing. Everybody is happy. They will come, they eat rice. Everybody will be happy. They have gotten married. But the reverse cannot happen. If a woman comes now, she's the one working, the man is still struggling, looking for a job. Even in that marriage, in that place where the ceremony is going on, there will be whispers and there will be gossips. So you see a lot of men today, up till now, they are not married because they do not yet have the kind of resources they need to settle down quickly. Okay. All right. Okay. Somebody
says when the man is irresponsible, it's so hard to respect that man. Do you agree?
Well, I agree, but if he is your husband, then he's your irresponsible husband. And what I would say is that you must, I mean, the thing is that you have to respect him. All right. But if he's not your husband yet, you can decide to say, I'm not going this way anymore. Okay. All right. So that's what I have to say. But there are so many things we can do to turn around the irresponsibility. Sometimes it's not by choice. Okay. Sometimes it's by choice, and we have to look at the peculiar situations to know what to do with.
Okay.
And that's instance.
And then Sotoya also agrees that I agree, no romance without finance. Okay.
Of course, finance gives you the confidence to do what you want to do. As a man, even to talk to your wife, if you go to some motor parks in Nigeria, when they say, Mama or you, Papa, I love my wife, I love my children, it's not with mouth, is you have to show something.
Okay.
Most women respect you because you are a provider. Most women, I say this, respect their husbands because they are providers. The moment you are not able to provide as you used to, the woman can step in for 1 month, for
Okay.
2 months, for 3 months, maybe. But when it begins to extend beyond 6 months, okay, you will become the wife. The woman will become the husband in that house. Because she then expects you to say, okay, I'm working so hard to sustain this family. Why is it that just come on to help me peel the yam? You can't even do it. Okay, help me on the gas. You can't even do it.
I love it. But the thing is, sometimes, right? Some men are nice. They help their wives, even when they provide everything,
Exactly.
even when they are capable of doing everything. I think what makes women upset is this, okay? So the guy isn't bringing the money. Okay, we understand it. All right, you're not bringing the money, but just try and just at least do something. And then you're not doing it. And so it makes the lady upset.
I pray for men. I say, may you never be able, may you ever not be able to do what you are supposed to do as a husband and a father. It's a terrible place to be in for a man. It's a terrible place to be in for a man to just help them when you are not able to provide not only your wife, even your children.
Yeah.
They just think that that is what it is. So finance plays a very strong role
Okay.
in homes
Okay.
and in marriages.
Okay.
It's very critical. There is no one answer for every situation because
Okay.
you can meet a guy today, he's working very well, but in this global world that is sizing, you can meet a guy today, he's working, doing very well, but in this global world that is sizing,
Yeah.
you can lose that his very beautiful job.
Okay.
And probably you guys have built a standard where you are living on X amount per month,
Okay.
and then the next job he gets is a compressed pay,
Yeah.
not as much as what he used to earn. How do you then, you have to now readjust yourself and in your formative years, you are still building up.
Yeah.
So before you get to that state where you say you are financially independent, it will take a few years to get there. All right. So my prayer really for people is that you will be able to provide as a man
Okay.
what you need to do.
Okay.
You will continue to earn the respect. But once that is not there, it's a challenging thing.
Okay. So we're going to go back to the tips. Okay. So we've talked about being a nice person. We talked about communication. We talked about nice appreciation. What else?
Um, so spend quality time together.
Okay.
All right. Maybe sometimes shut off all the technology, phone. These days, technology has taken over our life. So you go into a home, the wife is with her phone looking at one side, the husband, the children, everybody. So we rarely talk these days. All right. I would recommend that talk to each other. All right.
Okay.
Talk to each other. Sometimes, at a stage in my house, we had a policy where I'd said at 7 o'clock, or was it 6 in the evening, all the children will bring their phone to our room and drop it. We ourselves will drop our phone, whatever we wanted to watch. TVs are useless in homes these days because children rarely watch it. I mean, they all have gadgets in their hand, so they rarely watch TV, and there's Wi-Fi available to everybody. All right, but let's not kill communication totally. All right, spend time together. Sometimes read a book that interests both of you. You read a book, you can give your wife to read, or sometimes two of you can even share the book together.
Okay.
All right.
So what else?
Well,
you said, okay, let me say this.
Okay, go ahead.
You talked about
Making room for each other.
making room for each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that?
Make room for each other, accommodate each other within your space. Sometimes we are so fixated on what we want to do.
Okay.
All right. And that your wife needs you and you had to leave in 7 o'clock. Blah, 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 blah. I have to leave this place at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And of course, as women, sometimes it's that 7 o'clock that she will realize that the cloth she was wearing is not the right cloth she wants to wear. All right. And, what I say, make room for each other is give yourself that extra 30 minutes to wait. You don't know what you are even saving, right? But some men get angry and just leave. And the woman also, vice versa, you should make room, accommodate
each other's
so not really fault, but some excesses or things that are you need to do, but your spouse needs you to do something else.
Okay.
All right. You're coming back from VI. Your spouse wants you to go to Surulere and collect something, and you say it's third mainland, I'm not going through Surulere. No way. Hey, for that day, go through Surulere. You may spend an extra 1 hour. That's called making room for each other.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And what else? We talked about being content.
Yeah.
With your partner.
Yeah, we talked about that, being content with your partner. Never compare your partner with other people. It's a no-no. Don't say, look at your mates. Couples say that most of the time, but try to, as much as possible, to avoid that. Don't say, look at your mates, look at what they have done. Why are you? And never body shame your partner also. Don't say, what's wrong with you? You are becoming X or you are becoming no.
So how do you lovingly tell your partner to lose weight, or maybe you don't like the dress the person is wearing or something? I mean, how do we, because in it, sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves and say, certain things are not right.
I'm not saying you're not, it's not a question of body. I mean, if we are together in the house and I'm telling you the things that I'm telling you, it's just me and you in the house. Babe, what's happening? Is it that?
No, it's not me. It's not me. It's the dress I'm wearing.
It's the dress you're wearing.
Like the last time we had to check, I was putting on some weight. And then we checked the scale, right?
Yeah.
And I looked at the scale. I'm like, no, I have to go and buy another one.
The scale is bad.
The scale is bad. And but sometimes, right, I think that men ought to hear this as well, that when women get to a particular stage in their lives, right, we're tipping towards menopause, we're getting into our 50s and everything, it's a different time for us. And I think that men should be kind, because now, like, you're not looking the way you used to look, and you're seeing the gray hair all over the place, and you're seeing, you think you're getting old, you're facing your mortality. And I think that men have to be kind, because see, life,
all of us have to be kind.
Let me tell you why. I'll tell you that because you see, when the man is aging, they tell you, oh God, he looks very distinguished.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he's losing all his hair.
No.
His mustache are becoming gray.
Yeah.
He's getting pot belly. So
no, but these days, if a man gets a pot belly, that's his problem, because he doesn't have to have a pot belly. But I'm saying that when a man goes old, he looks distinguished. A man in his 60s can marry a 25-year-old girl. I mean, if he has the money, you don't look at it. But for women, you're like, oh my God, my body is dripping, looking, going south and all that. So I think that men should be kind.
Yeah, I mean, so you just choose your language, choose your words respectfully. Again, that's why I talked about mutual respect.
Okay.
Sometimes the way things come out, sometimes we drop it and we say, oh, that's not what I intended. Okay. Be kind with your words. There's a good way to tell somebody anything you want to tell them.
Okay.
And there's a not so good a way to say it.
Okay.
All right. Even if I wanted to tell you to lose weight, I mean, I've been dragging you forever to go on walks with me and jogs and everything. Did I tell you? I say it's just for physical health and fitness.
Yeah, you've been, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it wasn't recording. Okay, so, and what else? So, guys, please, you can write in your questions, and if you have any comments, and if you have any comments, kindly, we're going to ask
so
questions.
the tips, just to complete that one, somebody asked me and said, how often should you tell your wife I love you? How often should you tell your wife I love you? Once a day, once a week, twice a day, 5 times a day? How often? What do you think?
Well, Enebi, you know what happened? I always tell you,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you do.
To tell me what you feel about me.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's good for you to tell your spouse that you love the person,
Yeah.
because then it validates that person, and it makes that person want to do more.
Yeah, sure.
All things being equal.
Sure.
Because sometimes we're talking because that in some relationships, so everything is going on well, but there's some people that are in a relationship where it's difficult. You have a spouse that is difficult.
I totally understand.
So
I totally understand. So sometimes it's good to do what we call the check-in. It could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be once in a while. So just let's check in on ourselves and see how well we're doing or how well we're tracking.
okay.
And you always try to do that. Tell me, what do you think I'm doing well or what am I not doing well?
Okay. Okay, so we have a question from Messi. It says, men that don't have money for good maintenance daily do not look distinguished when they are aging. They sometimes look scrawny.
All right, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
Messi,
true.
that's true though. That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to say?
But sometimes you also look scruffy from the weight of the load you carry.
Okay.
So sometimes some men carry a lot of load. And I was telling you that a guy was, showing power on his wife and doing a giddy and his friend. They went out to the bar to drink, and the friend said, look around this bar. He asked him, where is your father? He said, his father is dead. He said, what about my own father? He said, his father is dead. They pointed at least 8 other people, 10 of them in total. They had all lost their fathers, but all their mothers were alive and doing well. What am I saying? Men carry a lot of weight and a lot of load. So sometimes they're aging and they're looking scruffy, like Messi have said, under the weight of the load that they are carrying. And it doesn't have to be like that.
So women should help them.
Yes. I mean, spread it out. Okay. That's why our women are today very supportive, working and earning. There's no shame in splitting rent. All right. Okay. The man pays the rent, but the woman pays the monthly NEPA bill, buys the gas. After all, why are you working? Okay. So split it so that it will even out. And there's no point. If you want to build a house, bring your money together, your resources together, build it. There's no saying that it's my house, I built it. I don't want my wife to have kobo in it, or the wife will go and build her own, the husband. No. So sometimes a lot of men, they pay school fees, they pay house rent, they send money to your mother, they send to your father, you bring your 2 brothers and sisters, they are living with you. And the man is, when his shirt starts, he won't even know. And when you tell him this shirt is old, he say, hey, is it old? But this shirt is looking good now. Why? Because he's under that yoke and burden. So women, carry some of the load. And sometimes it's good to come to an agreement. Some men are still doing macho. I'm the man, I want to do everything. There's no trophy for doing everything. Let everybody take a share. Let everybody take a share in what is happening so that life will be longer for all of you.
Okay.
I don't want to die and leave my wife, so that somebody else. Go to the villages now, you go and see only grandmothers are there and mothers. Why? All the men had gone to the farm, they have worked, done everything, So another way to make men live longer is to share this responsibility and share it very well so that the men will live longer for you, so that you can have them till you are 90.
Okay. So guys, for more tips on how to make your love last beyond Valentine's Day, you can go on my website, is goshopforbaby.com, and I have the article 10 tips on how to make love last beyond Valentine's Day. Love, I want to ask a question. And guys, please send in your comments. And if you have any questions, please ask. And if you have something to say, if you're on Zoom, please kindly indicate with the icon to raise up your hands so you can say what you have to say. Now, Inebs, I want to ask a question, okay? And I said I was going to ask you this question. What role does sex play in the relationship? Now, the reason why I'm going to ask you this question is because there's this video that we saw that a guy, a pastor was saying that the thing that a man needs most in his life is sex. And when I heard the video, I was like, come on, guy, this is not it. Because he made men look like wild animals that it's like so honestly like, so what is this? Why is it like, it's like he said what a man needs, and then he gave us a scientific this, a man is a progenitor and this and that. Guy, please just break this thing down. Let's talk in normal English.
All right, so sex it's given by God to be enjoyed within the confines of marriage.
Okay.
Like we say, men are very, very
visual.
They like what they see, and what are they looking at? So when a man sees a woman, and I'm being very practical, all right? So when a man sees a woman, sometimes they say men undress a woman with their eyes even before they really get into the woman. So whether you are married, so this is purely before marriage. Because after marriage, of course, you have seen your wife and those things do not probably apply. But when you see a woman, you're looking at how this woman is pretty, your eyes go down to her breast, you go down to her backside, and you're looking.
PG.
Okay, they are all adults on the platform. Okay, so men are very visual, and they like what they see. Sex is a very important aspect in a relationship or in a marriage. Let me put it like that. Acts of physical affection. So it's not just the sex in itself, the little hugs, the little kisses, the little touches here and there, and all those kind of things. What happened to you?
No, I really like.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's very, very important that when you are married, you must be able to have time to be physically affectionate with each other.
Okay.
That's why Apostle Paul says that the body of the woman does not belong to her. It also belongs to the man. And the body of the man does not belong to the man alone. It also belongs to the woman. I think what Paul was saying effectively is that you cannot unilaterally decide to deny your spouse, of that
deep benevolence,
that aspect of what comes with marriage. Okay. Except there is a purpose and a reason. All right. And I think it's important. It's important to keep the fire burning. And sex graduates as you age in life. So that's just the truth of the matter. All right. When you're in your 20s, when you get married, or the man is in his 30s, all right, sex looks like food to you. You come back from work every day. You almost want to make sex, or you always want to have sex, sexual relationship. But when you enter your 40s and you're in your 50s,
and you start paying school fees
and the pressures of life come, you stay in the parlor longer than necessary, hoping that your wife will have slept by the time you get to the bedroom.
I will start taking medication.
So there's no prize for there's no
So no
prize
more
for
trophy.
there's no trophy for that thing. But
Okay.
it's a very important aspect of a marriage. Do not deny your husband unduly. Do not
Okay.
use sex to punish them and say, oh, because they didn't do this and that, come and take. A lot of people try to do that and they use sex. But I advise that is not, do not use sex to punish anybody.
Okay. So, but again, love, there's some guys that, there's some people that, some women feel that the guys are always. So how do
Always
we,
disturbing them.
yeah, so how do we balance that?
How do you balance it?
Yes.
So you have to, it's a discussion thing. There must be good communication, right? Because they say the sex that will happen in the night starts from the morning. You understand?
Give us examples.
So when you wake up in the morning, you know that, okay, you want to make love with your wife or your wife wants to, and then you're in the office, those little messages, love, how are you? How's your day going? Are you fine? You don't just think of what do you think I'm thinking about? Say, what are you thinking about? Just drop something, just drop something, set the pace, set the mood. All right. When you're coming back, buy something nice, say something, send a beautiful text. You are setting the mood for what will happen eventually. All right. But it's not just that you come out of the blues, nothing, you just want to pounce,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying to set them. So you're saying that what happens in the other room starts from the living room.
Exactly.
So you're 9. Sometimes when you see the plates in the sink, you just help to wash it.
Exactly.
And when the children are running around, you kind of like help to
exactly
sort her out and back the
I
kids.
said, darling, don't worry, just go and lie down. Let me sort this out.
They will start suspecting you. Why?
Say, darling, don't worry, just
No.
go to the room. Just
No,
lie
I
down.
don't.
I just, I will help out with this. Don't worry. I'll sort out all this.
Okay.
Right?
Now, Inebs, just one more question.
Yeah.
How do we manage intimacy when we have little children?
Okay, so that happens in a lot of families. So because
the young
families that have little children, I think for people that have sufficient rooms, the children have their rooms. All right. There's nothing bad for your children to know that mommy and daddy love themselves. So there can be little pecks and kisses here and there.
Okay.
Let the children see you people displaying love and affection.
Okay.
All right. That you guys love yourself. No doubt. That one is perfectly in order. And then the other room is purely for daddy and mommy. If the children have their room, they can be in their room. For us, you can do anything else you want to do.
But there are some times, practically speaking, where sometimes the kids, want to come into your room. Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened to us when our kids were younger. Okay. They never end up sleeping in their room till morning. And so because we know that they will definitely come into our room, we try not to lock the door. All right. Okay, we lock the door for a while, but we then thereafter open the door, because if they come and the door is not locked, they are going to bang it and probably wake up the neighbors. So we try to keep the door open, and that's just the way it rolls. All right. So that's why it's good to go on holidays also sometimes without the children.
Yeah,
if you have if you have a support structure that can help you look after the children, just to get some rest and some respite from them. Not very long holidays, maybe 3 days or 4 days, just go somewhere
and relax. Fantastic. So love, now one more thing I'm going to ask is this. So does anyone have questions, or do you have any contributions? Questions or contributions?
Open to take your questions.
Questions and contributions, yeah. Okay, so love, what is the role of being together in being spiritually at par? Like we talked about going to the same church, for example.
Do not be unequally yoked.
Going to the same church.
Okay, do not be unequally yoked means a lot of things, because a lot of people hear different things and they believe different things, and they bring their belief systems and what they want to do to bear on the people. So you have to be sure that you and your spouse, you are on the same page, as relates to your spiritual life. One person is going to Kevin as for a hearing vision, and some person is going to die. You need to look like, it just divides the family.
Okay.
That's why it's sometimes good for you guys to be on the same page as concerns these
That's
things,
the spiritual things. Okay.
spiritual things, very
Okay.
important.
All right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, guys, please, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
And please, would like you to like this video, share it if you enjoyed it, and also go to my website. It's goshopforbaby.com. I have several topics that I talk about, especially people who have children, and also to read more tips on how to make your love last beyond Valentine's Day. And then for this month, when I'm writing about love, next week I have a guest writer who's coming in, who's going to send a post about self-love. And I think in another, after that, I have an expert who's going to be talking about, professional help in, helping us to cope with love and relationship in this lockdown season. So, guys, so thank you very much. So, if you love, do you have anything to say? Do you have any?
Yeah. Okay. So the last things I would say is that tomorrow is Valentine.
Yeah.
Is good. It's just another day,
Yeah.
but it's a day that I think in my mind have been declared for people who do not know what love truly means, but a day nonetheless to show love, all right, to anybody, to your spouse,
Your
or
family members, your
family members,
friends.
your friends. You can buy them a gift, you can do stuff. And then the last thing I would say is that if you're married, continue to date your spouse. Don't stop dating your spouse. What are the things you did when you were dating? What are those little things that the person made the person to say, yes, I do, and is still doing up till today? So keep doing those things. Don't stop dating. Stop those little jokes, those little things, just keep doing them. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us. And we wouldn't have been able to do this without you. And we really, really appreciate you. We appreciate you. I would say thank you. Bye.
Juma, bye-bye, yeah.